got me.
All right, so this is going to be about clarity. This is going to be about strategy. This is going to be about stepping into the next level of your leadership. Okay, so I want y'all to be open, honest. You know, I want y'all to give us some good strategies, because one thing about me is when I come to things like this, I want to experience something that I can take home, that I can use. So I want to make sure y'all are open to, drop some gems. Don't be gatekeeping. I don't want nobody gatekeeping. So I want everybody to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hello, my name is LaTasha, and we call me Tasha, but I am the luxury lifestyle assistant. And what I do is I do a number of things for clients. I am an executive assistant, publicist, and I also do consulting. So I work with the team that you all talked about in the last time about financing and how do we keep our clients going financially. Well, I work within the team because I don't want to be looked at as just a bill. I'm an asset. I want to feel when I'm not around. Y'all gonna feel when I'm not around. You understand? I work with celebrities. I work with influencers. I work with CEOs, and I also work with entrepreneurs as well. So what I do is it's not a cookie. It's very much not a cookie cutter business, because all my clients are different, all of their businesses are different, and they all come from different walks of life. And I want to make sure that I foresee them to get to their goals as well as mine. And I have a pleasure with working with them just like they have a pleasure with me. So my clients, they don't think me.
I know that's right. Tell us something.
Peace and love, everybody. My name is Yoko. I work predominantly in the music and the entertainment industry as an artist manager, a project manager, a rights and royalty manager. So all these different management positions, pretty much, I help strategize everybody's career. One of the main things that makes me a little bit different, though, is I'm a person who understands the music business, right? So how to get paid, teaching people how to get paid, understanding contracts is something that our people typically have issues with. These are things that are pretty much my bread and butter. So along with creating the strategies for my clients, I'm also educating them and helping them build their foundation on their own so they can understand how to run this music game themselves. My favorite thing to do is to teach people everything that they try to have from us. So what I love to do in my industry is pretty much pull the wool back from my clients and be able to teach them their own structure and their own strategy to be able to win in this game. So I've been able to work with, I got people who record in their closet still. I got Grammy-winning artists that are on my clientele. Everybody gets treated based on what they need, but at the end of the day, foundation, structure, strategy is what we provide for everybody, so they can accomplish their dreams and their goals and not have to pretty much do what society tells us to do.
You got to get paid.
Hello everyone, I am Coach LaToya, and I help women go from pressure to power. And so I'm so excited about being here today. A little bit about what I do. I focus on life, leadership, and really the well-rounded woman when it comes to women in leadership. I have a master's in leadership. Over the years, I've spent many time in community and community building. So I'm here today to really talk with you guys about the power of your born identity and what that truly means and how you can unlock that.
Awesome. All right, everybody welcome him. I feel like this is we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, so most people don't fail, they just outgrow themselves, right? So what was the exact moment you realized your current way of thinking, working, or leading could not take you where you wanted to go? And what did you have to let go of to move forward?
Ooh, okay, so when I realized that I could make more money than I was making hours, meaning that I was working in corporate America and I didn't have creative control. I just was, these are the rules, you run the play. And that's basically how I felt. I felt like, a lot of things that I implement onto my clients, they come from my 9 to 5. Everything that I've learned. And I always encourage people, it's good to jump straight into entrepreneurship, but go and work hands-on first. Go and work under somebody. Get the teaching, get the mentorship, get the training. Don't just take one class from somebody and you jump out there and you're like, hey, you know, I do taxes, and you ain't work for H&R Block, and you ain't work for Jackson. We don't know you from a can of paint. You have to build that credibility and build that experience and learn everything. These Fortune 500 companies that's out here, they are running the play with, they're already advanced because they have the money, right? So they're already implementing the new systems. They're implementing the new team building performance platforms for their employees. Y'all need to take that home and take that into your business. You know what I mean? A lot of businesses suffer because there is so much unorganized and lack of consistency. So that's the reason why, you know, you have to go back to the drawing board, go work the job. Yes, it, you know, kind of, you know, it sucks a little bit, it takes your time away, but go and get the training, go and increase your speed, go and increase your knowledge, go and increase your credibility before you go out into the world and you taking people money and you're not able to perform, you're not able to produce, and next thing you know, you're out of business. Your credibility is shot. And make sure that when you got to do a business with people, you do your research on these people. I want to know where you went to school at. I want to know where you're from. I want to know where you work at. I want to know what your employers say about you. I want to know these things before I give you my money and before you even take on a client. Get to know if these people are who they say they are. All right?
Anybody else have questions? It's okay. We love this type of conversation, okay? I want the real, don't you know? Okay, so the question was, what was the exact moment you realized your current way of thinking, working, or leading could not take you where you wanted to go, and what did you have to do to let go to move forward?
For me, I realized I wasn't making enough impact. And it made me just want to switch everything, right? So being in the music industry, things move fast, right? There's a lot of facades and everything that are around you. And you got to sit back and ask yourself, what am I doing this for? And I've always had a certain passion for me. It was always, again, making sure our black and brown people were taken care of. Because I already knew that the marginalized, we can talk about everything that was wrong with that. I knew that was the issue. But then I had to ask myself the question, am I being a part of the solution or a part of the issue? One point I kind of felt like I was part of the issue a little more than the solution, if you would, right? So I had to figure out not only how to be more of an impact, but how to scale, right? Because you can't teach every person one-on-one, right? But there's also a point where bigger impact means bigger rooms. In order to get in bigger rooms, you need to increase your own resume. Just like you were saying, you gotta kind of teach yourself, put yourself back in school, make sure your skills are up to par, because of course you want to move up and you want to move up in brackets when it comes to clientele and income, but can you have that same support what you're charging these people for, right? So for me, it was going back to the drawing board and figuring out how to become not only work smarter, not harder, but also be an impact at the same time. Almost on some practice what you preach type thing. So I went back to, I was always a student of the game. That's how I started everything. I was an intern, I was a take a class, read a book, figure it out. I made myself a student again. I figured out where is the impact going to be, and I found a way to kind of cross those things, if you would. And I just took it to the next level to now where it's not just music, if you will. For me, I'm in a place where I'm at advocacy. I'm in a place where we're trying to get in bigger rooms, where we're getting laws changed, but it's hard to get in these rooms. These people in these rooms don't look like us, but it don't mean that it don't exist. So that was my whole thing, is like, nobody in this room looks like me.
Yeah.
So if I gotta level myself up to make sure that there's somebody representing us, that's the work that gotta be done.
That's a game changer. I love it. One of the things I want to talk about, I am the founder of Boom University. And it's so funny that sometimes we build names and brand that we don't match. And I believe that's one of my things, is coming into my boldness. And one of the things that stop us is really embracing who you are and what you're designed to be. We focus so much on brand identity that we don't focus on our born identity. And so one of the things that I had to learn that really stopped me is about self-leadership. And so one of the things I really want to talk about, what I stress about, is the difference between being an entrepreneur or a CEO. It's two different mindsets. So I really spent a lot of time talking about CEO leadership. When you talk about CEO leadership, it really deals with your self-leadership. Because at times our brand is more bigger than who we are. And And so we find ourselves missing ourselves. So I dealt with burnout a couple of years ago, which inspired me to start Bowling University and focus on women in leadership, that we lose ourselves. So we're building the success and we are sacrificing who we are and what we're designed to be. And so when we look at it, we find ourselves, I found myself laying on the floor asking God to fix my unbalanced life. And so this was my wake-up call to realize that I come first.
So wait, I have a question for you. You talk about identity. So we talk about our old version, the new version of ourselves. So this is a question for you. Is what part of the old version of yourself was the hardest to let go?
Assumptions. Assumptions are small whispers that are lies. Can I say it again?
Yes.
Assumptions are small whispers that are lies. And so with my voice is not just on the marketplace, but my voice is in ministry. I'm also a pastor. So one of the things is that I realized that my voice was for commencement, my voice for different places, and so I have to really get to a place to elevate myself to realize that I can be in any room with one voice.
Okay, I'm gonna shift the conversation to talent gets you attention, right? And trust gets you access. So I feel like everybody here is talented, right? But when it comes to business, you have to be trustworthy. You know, me working in business, I feel like I uphold that at the highest. Because I want people to be able to trust me and come and work with me. You know, because I've ran into people, I'm like, you don't give me trustworthy. I can't trust you. You do anything for some money. Like, I don't know. So, my question to you all is, what did you change about your standard structure or behavior to become someone people trusted with money, opportunity, and influence?
Boundaries.
We don't talk about that.
It was boundaries, right? So for me, you get to a point again in this music industry. I know a lot of people you hear there's no money in the music industry. That is the biggest lie that I've ever heard in my life. Right? The music industry is a billion, almost $1 trillion industry. There's a lot of things that can sometimes get dangled in front of your face, and you have to have ethics, right? You have to ask yourself, is it worth this or that, right? And that for me came with boundaries. What is these dollars attached to? What is this opportunity attached to? Is this going against my character? Is this going against everything that I stand for as a human being, right? So I think having the boundaries for me also created the structure that was needed to make sure that business was successful. Because if I don't have boundaries, I'm doing whatever. I'm answering the phone at 3, 4 o'clock at night. My partner's looking at me crazy because I'm having full conferences at 4 a.m. because that's the time that I got a phone call, right? Because we want to close the deal quick. But now it's at a point where like, no, we have business hours. Right? After hours mean a little extra check if that needs to be done because that's an inconvenience, right? Somebody else's issue is not my problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the service that we have. So the boundaries came with the structure. The structure then came with the systems. You feel me? The systems then brought more clarity and less burnout for myself. So I think everything started honestly with me, with figuring out like what am I going to fold for, right? So I think anybody who's building a business has to figure out those same things. What are your no folds, right? What is something that I'm not doing that regardless of what the opportunity is? What are some things that I might bend a little bit if I can work with, right? You know what I'm saying? Those things happen as well. So I think it's being honest with yourself, and it's like every level that you get to, you kind of got to reevaluate and figure out, okay, what am I doing now? Is this part of a structure that works for me now? Is this a strategy that's going to work for me now, the way I can continue to grow? Because if not, you're going to have to get to a point where you're going to outgrow certain things. You have to make new structures. You have to make new strategies. So all of that, again, started with boundaries and figuring out, is this what I want to do?
So you did. So you did talk about, setting boundaries, and also, with those boundaries, you setting hours, right? Because I know when I was doing business, it's like I feel like I had to do business 24 hours.
Yes.
And I feel like I had to do it sun up to sundown and making sure that I'm answering my clients' calls whenever they need me and I set my boundaries, right?
Get you a luxury lifestyle assistant.
So my question is to you is, how did you build trust in slowing down or being less visible?
Honestly, it made me teach my clients to do the same thing, right? If I'm burned out, you're probably burned out too, right? So I had a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and was like, sometimes we get to a place where even though it's business, we're not worried about the fact that we're still humans, right? So I've seen so many times with working for artists where I hear people like, no, you gotta be hungry, you gotta go get it, you don't have what I call a holistic approach, right? I come to everybody like there's no cookie cutter answer because each client is different from the music they make, their lifestyle, the budget, everything is different. So I have to approach them and meet them where they're at. I'm a little bit different too, right? So I'm neurodivergent, and I tell everybody this because my brain just works differently. There's certain things that I have to do to accommodate my own self, right? So if I have these accommodations, my question to everybody else is, what do I need to accommodate you as well? So when I started creating boundaries for myself, I did the same thing with my clientele. Listen, we can't do these midnight calls no more, right? Because you probably should be asleep too for real. But from 9 a.m. to 7, if you need some little extra help, I got you for real. But I need this time off because you need this time off. So I think creating those boundaries for myself, I'm actually teaching my clients to do the same thing. So now all my clients are also getting healthy as well. They're starting to have boundaries, you feel me? And that's the domino effect that I want to create. But they're creating businesses as well. So it's the same thing that we're teaching them. Like, you need business hours, bro, because you can't be up all time of the night either. You need an assistant. You need a system, whatever it is. And now we're all teaching each other just by taking care of ourselves.
And I work with athletes, so you definitely have to have that model aspect, because it's like, what I use the model.
The athletes are hard earned, man.
They're hard. Yes. You like it?
Oh, go ahead. Okay. She did good. Okay.
So you talking about boundaries, we gonna keep right here with you, okay? Because one thing I feel like as women in business, we do not set boundaries when we start in business, because we feel like we have to please everybody, we have to be nurturing, we have to have that mother approach, or whatever the case may be. So my question is to you is, many women rely on hustle and self-esteem. What boundaries are non-negotiable towards your growth trajectory goals?
Man, I just got cussed out by a client yesterday about this, right? So I don't take unscheduled calls, right? So aside from like project manager and stuff, I consult, right? So I had a client who, she had a ton of questions. If you have a ton of questions, you can email her. I'm gonna answer them as soon as I can. But she was insistent about, I paid you. Why won't you get on the phone, right? This is sometimes where you have to teach people, because some people don't know. They don't know, like, I got my hard-earned money. Hey, are you right? You're right. But let's take the frustration out of this. I can't pick up the phone every time you have a question. If that's the case, I'll be on the phone with you all day long.
Right.
I ain't gonna make no money because it's just gonna be me and you on the phone, right? So small things like saying, I can't pick up the phone for you now, but here's my link to schedule a call, and we can sit down and get everything together, right? So if you was in a situation, giving them an alternative option. But for me, it's Friday night. I know for a fact I'm not getting on the phone, right? It's day night. I got things to do. We gotta get ready. I gotta walk the dog before I go. But it's, again, your inconvenience is not my issue.
Right.
And you have to teach people that when you have business, because again, you have this hustle mentality. Gotta get it. Gotta lock this thing right now. But actually, when you have business, they're gonna respect you even more. Right? Because you have a system. You're not running and chasing after every dollar. You're literally letting them know, like, I got you. When we open back up, because if McDonald's closed and you want a Big Mac, but they closed, what you gonna do? You're gonna wait till the morning to get the Big Mac. Same thing. I'm gonna give you the Big Mac.
Just like what you got.
Just like when we open, right?
The first time business owners is taking the I know, we all think it's before.
So this is what I'll say, and this is really what she said. You have to really sit down and create that structure for your business. Terms and conditions is everything. People need to know up front what your terms and availability are. And you must stick to them, all right? And my terms and conditions at this point is so long. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even think people are on the phone working because she's too strict. Because, and use your experiences to add, because we're all students. Even in our businesses, we come across a new problem, we come across something else, let me write that on my terms and conditions next time, they ain't gonna try me no more. I didn't get that. But that's what you have to do. And you have to have people that are in place for that. I am always the front line for my clients. I'm very overprotective of my clients. So to get to them, you gotta come through me. And I have to verify with them what their availability is. Because the luxury lifestyle assistant isn't about, the name is about the luxury in the service. It's a luxury to be done with your clients And that way, everybody is on the same accord. And guess what? If you don't like my rules, then it's not meant for us to work together.
Exactly, that
That's
part.
just where they're at. And all money ain't good money. I know that. You know? So I feel that, you know, when you have those terms and conditions in place, that'll avoid a lot of things.
I'm gonna say, this is a key point, you need to say to this lady right here, run a strict program. Run it strict, okay?
I wanted to mention something. Everybody said leaders learn. Leaders learn. One of the things that we as CEO, and I really wanted to really talk about this, is because when you can become an entrepreneur overnight. Like, you can have a really good gift. You come out with a flyer, and you're like, yeah, I'm already ready for business, open for business. But without your system structures and people in place to be able to expand your business, many of us are creating multiple brands, and you just need a brand expansion, right? And so one of the things that I had to learn was that I didn't have to add another business to it. I actually have 2 businesses. But one of the things that I had to really implement, and this is a shameless plug right here, entrepreneurs to the left. But one of the things is that I'm not just an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. So one of my things that I do is keep prayer in my business. My goal is to ensure that it's not about my aesthetics, but it's about my alignment. So every room that I go into, it must be connected to my destiny. And so when you understand your destiny, when we're building business, don't design it from an extent, yeah, we want to look good, we want to show up, we want to have everything, but where are you going in the next 10 years with your business? Is it longevity or is it just short term? And so we have to really answer that question in order for us to have brand legacy, so that your brand can stay on after you're gone, it's still here. And who's going to pick that baton up? I want y'all to think on that level.
Okay, I do have a couple more questions, and this doesn't have to go deep in detail, but one of the questions is, what boundary felt really uncomfortable when you first had to set it? What boundary felt really uncomfortable when you first set it? Like a boundary that you had to set.
One of the boundaries is to know your worth, right? Many of you guys do consultation, right? Is your consultation free or is your consultation paid? I think that was a question, because sometimes you do a consultation before you know it. It's an hour on the phone with a client. A discovery call turned from 15 to 2 hours. You don't need that client. All right, so we go pass it.
Consultation. When you have a consultation with someone, again, make sure that you know what your time limit is on there, and they are aware of that time limit, and make sure you have your people in place where you know they confirm that time limit. All right? But most importantly, you should also be able to, when you're working with people, in that consultation will tell you everything you need to know moving forward. I've had a client one time, well, she wasn't my client, but she was a person who booked a consultation. She says, you know, I want to be booked. I want to do speaking engagements. I want to do this, I want to do that. And the one question that I asked her was, if I was to get you booked and put you on a tour and hit up 4 different markets, can your business sustain without you? See, you can want a lot of things, but you got to be real with yourself. If you are the alpha and the omega of your business, the beginning and the end, you the one-man band, you have not made it yet to be on anybody's platform. You have not made it yet to be on anybody's tour, talking about how successful your business is, because you have not been there yet. You still need to do some groundwork. A lot of clients, I sit back down and I say, wait, where is your business plan at? Before we even get anywhere of you spending money, because again, it takes money to make money. Where is your business plan? When you create a business plan, the business plan will then open your jumped the gun. They haven't even did any research. And they are not really, and then they want to do something and then they change their mind. That's the reason why I say when you have clients, I will not work with anybody if you have not been in your business 5 years. You have to be married to your business. This business has to be something that you've been doing since middle school. If you take I'm so serious. I have clients, they've been doing hair and they've been doing makeup since they was in middle school, but they just got the confidence to take it to that next level. They got the confidence to then probably get their license or their certifications or whatever it may be. They just got the confidence to do so. So if you have not, I don't want to put that energy out there and put you in write-ups and put you in S's, and then 3 years later, 2 years later, oh, no, I ain't doing that now, right? You get what I'm saying? So that is enough, and we are in a microwave society. We have social media. I work with artists that have went viral, and everything come fast, and it came so fast. The pressure is how I'm gonna keep doing it again. How I'm gonna come out with that next hit. How I'm gonna come out with that next, how I'm gonna keep it hot. You get what I mean? Because it came so fast, it's like Ojibwe. You lose the weight so fast, you can't even keep up. So with that, you have to be real with yourself. You have to be real before you get on the call. And if you're not ready, a real person gonna tell you when you get on that call with, this is not your time yet. We need to scale it back. You need some coaching. You need some mentorship. You need some more education. You need to work on being consistent. You need to know how to speak. Because social media now, just having a conversation, it's a lot different now. You can't just post a picture on there and think your product's gonna sell and people gonna book with you. You gotta be real intentional right now. You gotta talk now on social media. Your videos, people got to hear your voice. People buy into you before they buy into the product, before they buy into the service, before they buy into anything that you got going on your social media page. Before I sit with you to get anything done, I got to feel that connection. I don't even like shopping. I like art. I will not buy any pictures on my wall in my home from Home Goods, because I don't have a connection. I have a connection when I actually see the artist actually pay and put their time into that piece. I will pay top dollar, and I want that artwork to be in my home where I can tell a story and say, oh, this ain't nothing you get at the store. Somebody made this. I was gonna keep going. Okay. I'm glad y'all spoke on it because a lot of women, we don't know how to set boundaries. We don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to, for me, it's just like I used to be ready to pop off. Like, what? But, a lot of ladies don't know how to handle, telling people when they're overstepping their boundaries. So, ladies, set your boundaries and make sure you stick to your boundaries and let people know not to play with you. Okay? I'm not saying like that, but don't play with you. Okay, so we're gonna shift the conversation, and it's gonna be the spotlight round. It's gonna be the spotlight round. LaTasha, most women are talented, but still feel invisible in rooms they belong in. Okay, so what is one shift you made that changed how people perceive your value, not just your work? And how can women reposition themselves when they feel overlooked or underestimated? Get out of your own way. All right. I had to get out of my own way. I hid behind clients. I did a lot of work for clients. I work behind the scenes. And when you work behind the scenes, it's a different, you're never looked at as, you are working behind the scenes of the star. My clients, they are the star. If I give them books, I had a client, I had a book for Love and Hip Hop Miami. I was on set. I was on Love and Hip Hop too, the back of my head. My hat was in Love and Hip Hop. And get out of your way. Because I hid behind my clients because I said, Start talking, start speaking, start being a voice.
It starts here.
It starts with you. It really do. Can't hide behind your social media. I had a client, she said, well, I wrote a book and I went on her page and all I saw was the book. Her holding the book laying on some bushes. The book was on the table next to a candle and some flowers. The book. Okay?
So wait, one more question. So was there a moment when it hit you like, oh, they not seeing me? Why they not seeing me?
Yeah. They wasn't seeing me. That moment was when my hat was on Love and Hip Hop. My hat. I said, oh, let me make some noise.
Okay, so we're gonna shift to Josh. So many women are afraid to speak up in deals, collaboration, and partnership. I know we might have all experienced that before a time or two. Can you share a moment when you realized you were giving more than you were receiving, and what you did to protect your value without burning bridges?
I don't know about that last part about not burning the bridge.
Oh, you don't care if you're gonna fire, huh?
I don't want to get the wrong advice.
Okay.
What I will say, every bridge is not necessarily for me to cross. Right? Let's just say, yeah, somebody said discernment. That was exactly it. There was a situation where I was working with a studio to help build a collective, if you would. So a collective is, think of it as like an incubator. We're going to take on a bunch of artists. We're all going to work together. We're going to all try to develop them. Nobody's making any money. We're all just putting sweat equity in. So sweat equity type thing. I had one conversation with somebody. A friend of mine had another conversation with the same somebody. Conversations were totally different, right? My friend came back to me and said this was a conversation that I had, and I don't like it. So I just decided, all right, again, I don't think this is maybe a bridge for me to cross, right? Let's just put it like that. Discernment, having boundaries, and just being on some, I'm not putting more in than what I'm going to get back, right? Because if you're asking me to put all my connections, all my network, all my education, spend time X, Y, and Z, but the deal on the back end is a little bit different than we talked about, I'm not doing this, right? So I walked away. When I walked away, everybody walked away. Right? We all walked away, but we went our separate ways. This is to a point now where we all still work together separately, if you would. But with everybody's knowledge and everybody's intake, but also having that boundary to walk away, we have made some of the biggest artists that have come out of this city, right? I'm talking about as a crew, as friends, as family, been on national tours, been on international tours. Biggest opportunities that have kind of happened for some of these people. Billboard this, the biggest artists, millions of monthly listeners, but it was all from just saying, I'm not doing that.
So with that conversation, what did you think that it might have cost you? Or was it like you just trusted your gut? It was like, no.
I trusted my gut. I think on the other side, they felt as though it was going to be, you're not going to get an opportunity big like this again. And for me, I just felt like I breathe opportunities into things.
Yep.
Right? Not on no cocky or anything like that, but just I know what I know. Right? I can find talent good, but not only that, I understand the business side. I understand how to work with other people who are willing to put that same value in, but I'm also aware and can tell when people are trying to use me. When people were trying to utilize my name. And that's what it was. It was a situation where they wanted my name in the mix. They didn't want to give me equity. I don't want to be paid. I want equity. Right? If I'm starting, it's the same thing. Like I started an app with some of my people. We all have fair equity. We are starting this together. We're all going to end this together. We have the start plan. We have the dissolve plan. Everything is laid out. I want the same thing. So it was just a situation where I don't feel like I lost anything. I think a person was trying to take advantage of me and just make it seem like this is bigger than what you are. Person's not even in the city anymore, right? And I've been in certain rooms that sometimes I even ask myself, how am I here, right? So just think if I would have been like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, I would have burnt myself out for no reason and been in a situation that didn't get me further. So me just having that situation and being like, I'm gonna burn this specific bridge, right, has put more bridges in my life bigger opportunity. So sometimes you just gotta have that discernment and know somebody trying to use me or abuse me. I'm not with it. I'm going to walk away. I'm not looking back. Because if I have this discernment now with somebody who's trying to take advantage of me, what if I have the same discernment when somebody is trying to actually help me? I'm gonna just shift the energy and go with the people who actually want to work with me, see the same thing that I have the same vision. And now look what we created.
And I'm glad you said that you spoke on discernment, because I know when I first started doing brand management and I had opportunities to work with NBA players, NFL players, and things of that nature, but they wanted me to do the work for free. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but they'll say, the names are big. You'll get this and you'll get that.
My bills are big.
Exactly. Exactly. I already know I got a money problem then. I want all my coins, okay? But I want every woman in here to understand is that it might look big and it might sound big, but you have to set those boundaries and you gotta get paid too. No matter how big the artist, no matter how big the player, the celebrity, whatever the case may be, you have to make sure you get paid too. You know, you doing the work, you can't do work for free. So,
like one of the biggest boundaries I want everybody to take from today is like no is a full sentence.
That's right.
Alright? No is a complete sentence from beginning to end. And sometimes saying no is going to open bigger doors than you ever would dream. Don't be afraid to say no sometimes. It's going to help you grow.
you can add hell no too. Okay, LaToya, we're gonna talk about high achieving women often carry everyone else with probably running on empty, right? So what pattern do you see most often that keeps women from fully stepping into leadership? And what is one particular way they can start shifting it today?
Great question. Wow. I think one of the things that we have to start doing as women is that high performance. We're constantly performing, performing, and a lot of those things are stemming from, as I'm going to be pursuing my PhD in counseling, a lot of those are stemming from trauma. And so a lot of time we're doing business without emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And so one of the things, and the key aspect of that, my business partner probably in the house, so when we created that book, we were crying on the field. We realized that we had childhood issues that still stem why our business wasn't flourishing, why we wasn't being successful, is because we've been rejected. And a lot of times we don't equate that with those connections because we're so far gone in trying to pursue and performing to try to make things happen. We perform to get on platforms, we perform to do, we as women in itself, we're nurturers. It's within our DNA. And so one of the things that we have to constantly do is to ensure that we're healing. And if I was in church, I would say, girl, get whole, okay? Because that's important. That you're gonna get whole for your business. You gotta get whole for your life. When you start pursuing wholeness, your entire life goes up.
That's good.
I really, really, really like that. Emotions, a lot of women I find, when they come to me, I have a network of women that are in my community, right? And when they come to me because they're making that transition from their marriage, their relationship, or the naysayers, right? They're trying to prove a point, and they're carrying on all this emotional baggage, and they're carrying on this. And at that consultation, I do take time to get to know that client. I'm gonna talk about my services, but I really want to know where you're at mentally, because the first thing I do if I book you for something, I need you to be able to show up and give yourself. If you're dealing with something, we're going to have to take a pause for a minute. We can't start it right now. I'm still here, but we're going to have to, we're going to have to circle back around for it. But that is a lot. I've always said I have in the past got a lot more accomplished when I was single, because all I had to do was think about me. I had a clear vision on what I need to do, and not me making sure it's okay for my partner for me to do what I need to do, or giving his unsolicited advice about, oh, no, baby, it ain't the time right now. I mean, that's cool and all, but maybe, you know, you should do that next year. I can ready, set, go on my own time, on my own time.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. I want to say thank you, ladies. Y'all can
I know you got me.